Needing just one more win and having two chances to do it, Elliott Avent and Pac-9 baseball, well.
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Wolfpack Nation? It's time to get locked in with Locked On. Thanks for making Locked On Wolfpack your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Our Monday show is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off of your first year. That's Monarch like the butterfly, money like the money, monarchmoney.com, using code LOCKEDONCollege for 50% off of your first year. Happy Monday to all. As always, I'm Grayson Boone, joined by former Wolfpack defensive tackle Kenton Gibbs. Kenton, what a letdown, disappointing performance from NC State baseball this past weekend. When we spoke to y'all last, they had won on Thursday night, which was game one against Stanford. They needed just effectively one more win in just two games against Stanford, and that would have given them the ACC regular season title. They lose on Friday in extra innings. They lose in a no-show performance on Saturday. They drop 2 out of 3 to Stanford. Through all the smoke and the dust, actually, Georgia Tech emerges with the regular season championship. NC State had it, and then they didn't have it. They fumbled it away. Elliott Avent is still eluded by that elusive ACC championship.
I genuinely don't know what to say, Grayson, because Elliott Avent's resume is legitimately undeniable. You can't really, it's unimpeachable in many ways. But there is one glaring hole, period. However you cut it, however you slice it, however you want to say it, however you want to do it, there is one glaring hole. And he still has time to fix it. He still has time to fix this hole. But it's there. You know what that hole is, Grayson?
An ACC championship.
No, it's bigger than that. No championship of any kind.
Well, yeah.
No regular season ACC championship of note. Any tournament championships from the ACC?
Well, the thing is like if you count regional championships, which I get it if you don't want to, he does technically have, I think, 6 of those and 3 super regional championships. If you count them, you do. If you don't, I get why. But I get the point here. There's no like actual hardware. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Here's my thing. I believe in the championships that there's only one of those, right? Is there one of it? Yes or no? Then it's a direct box. You remember those little puzzles when we were kids? Do you do this? If so, yes. If so, if not, no. It's the same thing. Is there one of those? Because there's only one ACC champion every year in terms of regular season. There's only one ACC tournament champion every year. There's only one NCAA tournament champion every year. Not once have we gotten one of those championships. Again, like I said, the record, unimpeachable. How many first rounders? How many guys do we see playing in the big show, making every play you can imagine, a la a Trey Turner and company, right? How many times do we see those types of guys? You still sit here and say, when is it going to be our turn to win a championship of any kind? I am hoping that they deliver in short order in the tournament. Because, to say we're on the back 9 of Elliott Avent's career is probably a pretty big understatement.
Yeah.
We're probably on the 17th, 18th hole here. Like this thing is almost done here. And I would love to see Avent walk away with a championship. But a moment like this, it's just soul crushing. It really is, because this is a moment where you have such a perfect situation. It's not even a situation where it's like you have to play the biggest, baddest, you got to slay the dragon, the Bandersnatch, and the Jabberwocky all to get here. Which, if we are talking about that, this team has done that. They've played extremely well against good teams. But then we see those moments where we play down to teams like Stanford and a lineup of pitchers that had an ERA of nearly 20. We couldn't get 5 runs across on, so and again, it is, while this individual game is not, or this individual series is not an indictment of Avent, it does follow a trend and a pattern of always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And it hurts, huh?
It sucks. It sucks. And anyone that's listened to this show for an extended amount of time, you've heard me talk about Avent. The real baseball heads know what he has meant to NC State, the legend of a coach that he is, and everything that he has accomplished at NC State. So I will tend to defend him forever. I cannot defend this weekend. I cannot even attempt to defend what I saw this weekend. And not just the product on the field, but the quote that came out, I believe it was in between games 1 and 2. So it was on Thursday night going into Friday, if I have that timeline correct. But the quote that's been floating around the internet that says, Elliott Avent on the regular season title, quote, "That's for the fans. That's what the fans talk about. I've always talked about going to the postseason and having the chance to play for a national championship. I don't even know who won tonight. I have no idea," unquote. That last part, I believe he was referencing who won tonight was whoever else was playing in the ACC based on what UNC did, what Georgia Tech did. I get that. I get not following that. But to say that the regular season title is just for the fans, you cannot convince me that A, he really truly believes that, and that it doesn't matter to him, because it absolutely does, for one. And two, how could you say something like that? Because I'll break it down like this. Even if he's telling the truth on big picture, he doesn't value the regular season championship, because I'm one of those people. I think there's far more value in winning the ACC tournament and winning potentially down the road in Omaha. Those two things are more important than winning in the regular season title. However, winning the regular season title would have given you the number 1 seed in the ACC tournament, and you probably would have been a host seed, depending on how this week goes in Durham for the ACC tournament. You lost a chance at a host seed, a top 16 national seed. I'm far more pissed off that you lost that series to Stanford, and now you're almost solidified as a 2 seed. You didn't play well enough to beat Stanford, who's been one of the worst teams in the ACC all season long. Like Kenton was referencing there, I had tweeted out the collective ERAs of the pitchers they threw in game 3, and everything was 8 or above outside of 2. Some of those numbers are inflated because some of those guys have only thrown 6 or 7 innings on the season, but that only furthers my point. They weren't even good enough to get on the field for the entirety of the season. Those are the guys that beat you in game 3 in a must-win game. That's inexcusable. That is incomprehensible. It's unbelievable. You can't be taken seriously if you lose a game 3 like that in a series like that at home with everything to play for. You can't tell us that the regular season title doesn't matter and that's for the fans. We haven't done it since 1986, 39 years ago. You can't tell me it doesn't matter, because it does. It's not just for the fans. It would have benefited Elliott Avent. It would have benefited the team itself with better seeding in the postseason. So let me get this straight here. If your goal is to succeed in the postseason, that series against Stanford, if you handle business, you would have given yourself a better path to succeed in the postseason. Now, because you pissed it away, your path is more difficult, meaning you're going to have to go on the road to a regional. Now, I will say, you still remain a top 4 seed in the ACC tournament. That's good. That's it. That's a good deal, because that double bye is crucial. But to try and rationalize the regular season title not mattering because you have bigger aspirations, well, because you didn't take that series seriously enough, you just made it harder on yourself. So he lost me there. I can't defend that. I can't defend what I watched this weekend. It was a brutal series. It was an embarrassing series. You can't have 2 consecutive games where you're scoring only 3 runs against that Stanford. That's not an Omaha caliber Stanford, which we've seen the last, handful plus years. That was one of the worst teams in the ACC all season long. and NC State basically just rolled over and died. Now you get the continuous narrative that, oh, lights are on. You know what Avent does when that happens? He rolls over and dies. I mean, hard to disagree. We are in front yet again with our own destiny in our two hands, everything to play for. Couldn't get it done yet again. Now, yes, they do have another chance at an ACC championship this week, and many of us consider this to be the actual ACC championship because it's the ACC tournament. It's in Durham. We're the 4 seed. We'll begin playing on Thursday night. I also said, I'll put this out there as well, over a year ago, it was, let's see, this is like a year and a half ago. This is February of 2024. I was on another podcast. It was the Just Means Less podcast for the ACC. I had predicted that Elliott Avent and NC State would win the 2025 ACC baseball tournament. So we'll see. I still think they can do it. They have the team to do it, but that team's got to show up. They absolutely did not show up this past weekend.
Stop playing down to your part. The team that shows up against Clemson, the team that shows up against the Dirty Foot Club, that team needs to show up every game. That team needs to show up. And again, I get it. These are 18 to 22-year-olds. We're asking them to be perfect. Well, no, we're not asking you to be perfect. We're asking you to be good enough to beat Stanford. And if you're telling me that that requires perfection, well, I'll go down their list of games and say, well, looky here. We got about what? 30 teams that pulled off some perfection? Come on now. So, disappointing outcome, but it is what it is at this point. You move on. Yeah. And again, there's still time to win 2 more championships in front of us.
I think another frustrating part about what happened on Saturday, too, is you did need help from Florida State, and they actually pulled through. So all we would have had to have done is win our game, and you still could not get that done. It is, oh my gosh, it's mind-boggling. It's like statistically impossible that Elliott Avent in 28 years has not won the regular season title or the ACC tournament championship yet. He does have another chance this week. It is the ACC tournament in Durham. We are the 4 seed. We have the double bye. We'll play on Thursday evening at 7 p.m. We will play the winner of either Stanford and Virginia Tech. The winner of that game will have to level up and then play Clemson. We will play the winner of Stanford, Virginia Tech against Clemson. So most would probably assume that we're going to see Clemson. They're the 5 seed. We swept Clemson the last time we saw them. I'm sure they would they'd like to have a better response this time around if we do indeed see them in the ACC tournament. But good Lord, man. A meltdown of epic proportions. But they do still have the postseason ahead of them. If there was ever a time to find a way to get hot again, Thursday night beginning at 7 p.m., now would be the time. Coming up next, we're talking about Hollywood Smothers poking the bill instead of the bear, poking the bill at the end of last weekend. More on this after a quick word from our sponsors. Our Monday sponsor is Monarch Money. You ever check your bank account and wonder where the heck did all my money go? Between dining out, shopping online, and entertainment, sometimes it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes into play. It's your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in just one place so you can stop managing your money and start building your wealth. Managing your money with your partner is also now smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without all of the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off of your first year. That's Monarch like the butterfly, money like the money, monarchmoney.com using code LOCKEDONCollege. That's LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, Locked On College, for 50% off of your first year, only on Monarch Money. Middle portion of our Monday show, wanted to take some time to talk about something that happened at the end of last week that made its way around the internet. Running back Hollywood Smothers has been playing some darts, probably going to the pool halls around Raleigh, refining his darts game as any good dart player should. They have a very specific bullseye in mind. Well, for Hollywood Smothers, for those that have not seen this, it's Bill Belichick. Hollywood Smothers posted on his Instagram story a picture of Bill Belichick holding up a Dirty Foot Club hoodie, and it had darts not only in the direct nose of Bill Belichick, but had another dartboard on there, and it said target practice. Posted it on Instagram, did not take long at all to spread like wildfire. into the internet. For those that have not seen it, I'll go ahead and put it up on the screen. As you can see, Hollywood was having a little fun, nudging the new head coach down the street in Dirty Footland. As one would expect, you saw a mountain of pearl clutching from those in light blue saying, oh, this is trashy. Oh, that's distasteful. This is that Dave Dorn culture they got going on over there in Raleigh. To that, I ask you, Kenton, what happened to rivalries? What happened to guys in college sports of rival teams hating each other? What happened to the pageantry of college football in which you do, in fact, hate your rival and you will do anything like this, like a dartboard, to get under their skin? What was your take on it, Kenton?
I'm sick and tired of these guys, man. I'm so sick and tired of it. You know what else has been circulating lately? The Giovanni Bernard return that, got UNC a win in Carter Finley West. And you want to know what's so interesting about that? That's the last time, I believe, any UNC fans have seen a win against NC State in Keenan. I want to say maybe they've seen one other one. Either way,
full crowd. Yeah, they beat us in 2020, but that was a reduced crowd.
Yeah, so last time UNC fans saw when, hey, listen, nobody cares, dude. Didn't y'all really famous head coach in basketball, some Roy guy or something like that? Didn't he say he wanted to take a BB gun and shoot every red shirt behind the bench or something like that?
He did, in fact, say that. Yes, that is a real quote.
So we're mad at Hollywood for throwing darts at a board. Listen, if anything, I would just tell Hollywood, watch your old lady now, because Bill on the prowl. He on the prowl, and he's ain't nobody too young for him. Okay, so all I would say is watch your old lady. Be careful. Be careful. You got guys from over there quote tweeting Hollywood and all that. Now, the funny part? It's not even guys who have done anything. It's not even guys who played over there. Talking to, listen, it's in the words of one Kendrick Lamar Duckworth, it's all about love and hate. And let me tell you, I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that they walk, the way that they talk. I hate the way that they dress. I hate everything about those guys. I hate the Argyle. I hate their stupid little bush. I hate everything about those bozos. Everything. There is not a single thing about them that is a redeeming quality. If somebody said, Ken, I'll pay you $1 million right now to say something nice about the Tar Heels, I would immediately tell the biggest lie that I could and then go spend some of that money on retail therapy to make myself happy. Okay? Like listen, Hollywood, do your thing and do your jig when you get in the end zone against them as well. And let them boys know. Because honestly and truly, as much as people are talking about, oh, yeah, Bill Belichick's going to bring eyes to the sport. He's going to bring eyes to the triangle. Sure. But is he going to bring wins to Carter Finley West? That's the most important thing. But don't worry about it. Again, we'll be seeing them. We'll be seeing. If y'all got a problem with Hollywood, y'all will be seeing them. The chance will come. And we'll be in Carter Finley West this year. The chance will come. If you got all this smoke and all these problems, too many people that talking tough online, because everybody, Sada Baby's one of my favorite rappers. He got a song called Timeline Tough Guys. That's what we got over there. We got some timeline tough guys. Hollywood Smothers has shown he's actually tough when you put him on a football field. When you put him on a football field and send out a bunch of baby blue jerseys to stop him, they end up seeing a whole lot of red. That's it. So, they just end up reading Smothers on the back. That's what they're looking at. That's what they end up seeing. So, again, it's a difference between fake tough guys and guys that actually get it done. And Hollywood Smothers has proven to get it done. The Wolfpack have continuously proved to get it done. I got 10 nephews and nieces, and half of them don't know a world where UNC beats NC State in football. That's a real fact, by the way. Half of them have no clue that has ever happened, ever, because it's never happened while they were alive. So, again, these Hollywood, do your thing. Do your thing. Just continue to back it up on the field. Because I remember one of the players who quote tweeted talking about that was a transfer linebacker from Washington. An interesting thought about that. Hollywood Smothers has more explosive plays than that young man has tackles. Explosive play defined as a 15-plus yard gain. So, seems like if anything, you should not be betting because you'd be betting on the other team, brother. Let's get you off FanDuel.
That was linebacker Kamori House, now at UNC, transferred in from Washington. Quote tweeted, "We gon' see" on the picture that Hollywood Smothers had posted. And yeah, it was really funny to watch the Dirty Foot Club fans act like, who's Hollywood Smothers? I've never heard of this guy. Well, maybe one, because you don't care at all football program. So maybe you didn't watch him score twice, including the game winner on y'all back at the very end of November. He had 117 total yards and 2 touchdowns. Yes, including that game winner. So maybe if you would pay attention to your football program, you would already know who Hollywood Smothers is. But I love this. Not only is it good rivalry fun, and just like Kenton, I hate those guys. I want to poke fun and get under their skin every single way that we can. Because guess what, folks? That's what a rivalry is. That's what makes college sports great. When Michigan and Ohio State crosses off every single M in town, they put a red X over it. It's stuff like that. Or, Auburn and Alabama. Alabama poisons their oak trees or whatever. They throw the toilet paper over. They poison their trees. This is what makes college sports fun. And for the Carolina fans to clutch their pearls, oh, that's so classless. Why would they do that in Raleigh? Oh, my God. Good. Thank goodness for Bill Belichick, an upstanding human who's never done anything weird in the media. Come on, guys. It's college football. Can we not appreciate that this is A, objectively funny, B, good for this coming game? It raises the stakes a little bit. We all want that. It makes it more fun. And C, like I said, it's college football. Lighten up over there. But something else, and they always talk about, well, we're your Super Bowl and blah, blah, blah. We don't care. I've always thought that's hilarious because they're just openly admitting that they don't care about one of their 12 games that they play every year. What does that say about you as a program? You wonder why we whoop your behind every year? It's because we understand who y'all are. We hate you. We want to beat you. And then we go out and get it done. 7 of the last 10 times. That's why we beat y'all. That's why we care to beat y'all, because we don't like y'all. And that's why we get it done on the field. Clutching your pearls and saying, who's Hollywood Smothers? That's a surefire way to make it 5 in a row this coming November. So I don't know if they need to get offline, maybe get online, touch grass, whatever it takes. Have some feel over there in Dirty Footland. More stuff like this within reason is good for college football. It's good for ratings. It's good for fan engagement. It's good for the brand, everything. That little post, that dartboard made its way nationally all over Twitter. Good for NC State. Believe it or not, it's good for all of it. So good on Hollywood Smothers. He was inching really close to being my favorite NC State player of all time. He might have just done it. I guess we'll see how this season goes, but yeah, I love to see that. I hate those guys. You go ahead.
Them boys not tough. Y'all got folded with your jerseys on last year. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Let's stop this. Y'all are not tough guys, right? If anything, say, oh, we're gonna get you next year or something like that. Stop all this tough guy talk. That's not you. That's not who you are. You all are the people saying, Papa, call the family lawyer. They've planted the flag. That's who y'all are. Y'all are great poupon people. Y'all, you're not tough guys. Stop pretending to be tough guys, because you've seen what happens when you run into real tough guys. Now all of a sudden your linemen are getting folded by our receivers and DBs. That's who y'all are. Okay, one William to the next. Hopefully we can send this William off into retirement, and hopefully we can send him to a retirement home to find women his own age. But who knows? Everybody's in their own.
I can't get enough of this from Hollywood Smothers, and it's coming from one of the best sources it probably could have on our team, a guy that backs it up, a guy that literally, not single-handedly, but had the game-winning touchdown against them this last year. So good on Hollywood. It's good for the rivalry. It's good for college football. Enough of the crying over there in Dirty Footland. Coming up next, we have a couple more sentiments to discuss from Will Wade. He sat down with Corey Smith of Pack Pride for a brief interview. You're going to want to hear more about what he had to say after a quick word from our sponsors. Last couple minutes of our Monday show. As I said, Will Wade sat down with Corey Smith of Pack Pride at the end of last week for a brief interview. And I'm getting to the point where I just want to hear Will Wade say things, say anything. Just let him talk into a mic for like 10 minutes a day. The man is a walking soundbite. I cannot get enough of him. He's so sharp. He's unintentionally funny. And everything he says, anytime he says anything, any wall around me, brick wall, stone wall, wood wall, I give him the what for. Like, what are you looking at me for, wall? This man can single-handedly fire up the whole fan base without even intentionally doing so. in a matter of sentences. In this interview with Corey, he said, he's talking about the guys that he's recruiting to NC State, getting guys that want to be here, want to be at NC State, that love being at NC State. He's talking about Paul McNeil, who decided to stay here in Raleigh, and his love for NC State had a real pull in that. He wanted to stay here and be a part of this new roster. Will Wade went on to say that when he gets the full roster here, when he has all his guys in town, he's going to sit the team down, show them the ESPN 30 for 30, the Survive in Advance of Jimmy V, and give them a crash course about who NC State is and what they are about. Kenton, when I heard that on Friday, full body goosebumps, and then I ran into a wall. I physically ran into a wall. I wanted to see if I could knock it down. I was that fired up. Will Wade's at NC State. That's still a real sentence, and he keeps saying things that gets the people fired up.
Grayson, don't do that again. You need to deposit back on that apartment now. Let's stop playing around, okay?
Hey, it wasn't my wall. It wasn't my wall.
That's even worse. But I'm gonna say this. This is the stuff. This is the stuff Grayson and I were talking about. It's about championships. It's about winning. It's about, who gives a damn what the odds are, who believes, who doesn't believe. The guys in your huddle, in that locker room, at the training table, at the dining table, that is your foxhole. And it's us against the world. It doesn't matter if everybody is saying we're the best team in the world and we're only 2 bad losses away from them flipping that switch. If everybody's saying we're the worst team in the world and we can't get a win, we don't worry about them because, again, we are never worried about the outside noise. It's us. It's who we are. It's what our history is. It's connecting to those championship roots. That's the type of stuff that championships are made of. Championship teams are made of. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. And a thorough examination of this is who NC State is tells me that there will be a thorough examination of what we're putting out there on that court every night, which, again, is only going to give us a better product. I love me some Will Wade. I may not be running through walls like Grayson. I got a little bit more girth to me than him. It wouldn't be a great idea for me or the walls. Now I'm sitting there in my neighbor's apartment like the Kool-Aid man. But I will say this. I'd be lying if I said, hey, Will Wade gets done, get me fired up too. You're on your own now. I'd be the biggest liar there is.
When I've said things like this fan base has waited forever for a guy like Will Wade, it's stuff like this. The way he is so abundantly thorough about recruiting the right guys to NC State. Talent is one thing, but when you get talent, character, personality, and the physical want to be here in Raleigh, that's where the reckoning comes from. That's where you get a team that becomes a force to be reckoned with. And that's what he's building in a very short amount of time. And when you're looking at the blue bloods from around the country, whether it's Duke or Kentucky or Kansas, of course, the coach that's there, whether it's Calipari or Bill Self or Coach K at the time, that in itself has real pull. And the overall program success has real pull. But being there at the school, like, for example, I flew out to Kansas when we played Kansas this past season, and witnessing the culture in the arena and the museum they have, it's like, well, damn, I can certainly understand why the best players in the country would want to come and play here. This place is awesome. They live basketball. They breathe basketball. You can feel, there's like a buzz in the air about the type of program they built there. NC State and Will Wade, that's what you're trying to get to. And that's why showing the team the 30 for 30, showing what NC State used to be, the power that they used to be in the 70s and the 80s, we can eventually build something, somewhat comparable to the Kansases, the Kentuckys, and the Dukes. Don't run with that crazy. You know what I'm trying to say here. You can build.
I disagree. Yeah. Run with it crazy. We can build that. We absolutely can. In the day of NIL, why can't we? Why can't we? Fair. You cannot convince me that we cannot be those teams or better. You can't, especially in a game like basketball where football is a little bit different. I understand you've got a roster of 80-something scholarship guys. It takes more time to change things, and it takes a very long kind of work to do that. Basketball is not the same way. How many teams have we seen overnight go from like, wait, they're nobody to like, oh my God, why are they in the tournament every year? Listen, Will Wade took McNeese to the tournament. got them their first ever tournament win. If you think that I don't believe that he's going to turn the program into that, sorry to cut you off, but I'm going to run with it crazy. I'm going to run with it crazy because I think he can do it.
Yeah, I mean, the point is in there. Like, when you look at those other programs and you have guys that go to that school because of all the other external factors, but they genuinely love that school and they want to be at that school. That's what Will Wade's trying to build here. He's trying to build a consistent winner. He's trying to instill the NC State values in the team. Something else that he said in the interview with Corey is he spent some time with his assistants learning about NC State. The first couple of weeks that they had a full staff, he wanted to learn more about the fan base, how they react to things, what they feel about things, the places they like to go, the places like they eat. He wants to learn and get a background idea, the blueprint of how to be the most successful NC State coach that we've had here in a long time. And then when you bring in highly talented, more talented guys we've had here in a long time, and they want to be here and play for NC State. They want to play for the name on the front in the red and white. That is just such a special feeling that we haven't had. And so that's why when you hear me compare him on some level to Jim Valvano, that's what I'm getting at. The school pride that he's already walking around with in a month and a half is unlike really anything I could have imagined. He's exceeding the expectations and the buzz that I thought that he could bring to NC State. It's stuff like that makes a difference. That's what gets the fans bought in. That's what sells the season tickets, raises the NIL, sells the merch down the line, packs the Lenny when the season tips off. It's stuff like that. We have been waiting to believe in the program, like the belief that he is selling right now. And I'm buying every single share he's got. Anything Will Wade wants to talk about, I will be there to listen. Incredible interview from him on Friday.
Listen, at the end of the day, I've noted Will Wade wears an awful lot of black. It's time for us to be the black hat. It's time for us to go from, look at NC State, here on the national stage, good for them, to damn it, NC State again? Oh my God, can somebody stop these guys? And the answer will be no. The answer will be no. The answer will be, oh, can somebody stop us? Oh, that's unfortunate. Shucks. So sad. Too bad. Anywho, see you back here in the Final Four. See you in the Natty again. See you cutting down the nets at the end of the season again, because I believe that's where Will Wade is taking this program.
What I meant to say, I just remembered one of my main points, but like when you're thinking about like a Duke or Kentucky, like put yourself in the shoes of like a 5-star recruit. And when he's starting to weigh his options, he's like, man, Duke, like, they got real culture. Their fan base is insane. Or Kentucky, like the history there, like they got motion. Like the gravity to that program is real. That's what Will Wade's trying to do here. He's trying to have these recruits come up, weigh their options, and think about NC State. They're like, man, their fan base it's crazy. They have a gigantic arena, and when they fill it out, that feels like one of the best fan bases I could possibly play in front of. That's what we're gunning for here, and it's all within reach. I assure you, if you see Will Wade succeed in a massive way in year one, look out. That's where the reckoning comes from. He's trying to have NC State have gravity, have a gravitational pull in the recruiting world. And it's not that far off. I'm telling you, if he succeeds, watch what happens. Watch the dominoes that fall in the direction of Raleigh, North Carolina. Just watch. That will do it for us here on Monday. As always, thank you all so much for joining us. Be sure to hit that like button, drop your comments in the comment box. Give us your thoughts on the NC State baseball meltdown at the end of this past weekend. They're on to bigger things, the ACC tournament in Durham this week. They will play on Thursday, but disappointing finish to last weekend. Give us your thoughts on Hollywood Smothers poking the bill over there with the dartboard, using Bill Belichick as a dartboard. Very funny to me. Whatever, over there in Dirty Foot Land. If you have heard that interview over on Pack Pride from last week, Will Wade instilling the school pride in his team already so early in year one. Give us your thoughts on that. Anything else you have on your mind, drop that in the comment box as well. Mash that subscribe button. We'll see you right back here tomorrow on Tuesday for more. And until then, go Pack.
Go Pack.